Welcome to the Carry On Couple Podcast with Ryan and Katrina. This is our podcast about our adventures and how we make life magical. We're going to tell you all about how we travel the world on a tight budget and still make it awesome.
We can't say that our way will work for everybody, but we want to share our experiences with you so that you might be able to have your own travel adventures. And if you're listening, we want you to know that you and I, we're in a club now, the Carry On Club.
Episode 48!
The 48th.
Last week on Carry On Couple Podcast, we told you about where we stayed, what we ate, and described our experience blackwater rafting.
This week, we're going on an adventure. That's right, we're telling you all about Hobbiton and more from around Rotorua. Take it away.
Okay, as usual, shouting out Joey
Yes.
with Laugh It Up Fuzzball. We're going to throw the picture up here. Listen to that podcast. It's great. He's been still coming up with episodes even though he has a new baby and everything.
I know.
I don't know how he's doing it. I'm personally behind on his episodes a little bit, but we've been busy also. So I'll be listening and I'll be marathoning like 3 episodes, and that's a lot of time because he records.
He's got some long episodes.
He does long episodes, kind of like us.
Good quality stuff.
Yep, all quality. Okay, so let's get going here. What are we starting with? What's going on?
Well, we are starting with Hobbiton.
Hobbiton?
I know!
Okay. So, and what is Hobbiton? For those people that don't know.
Well,
not everybody listens to Joey's podcast.
okay. Well, we're talking about Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
Okay.
You know. This is a movie set, or movie sets, that you can go visit to see where they filmed Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, parts of it, including the Shire, which is super exciting.
That's super cool.
So, as inspiration for that, I thought it'd be nice to share a quote from the books that inspired the movies. So, if most of us valued food and cheer and song above hoarded gold, it would be a merrier world. And I thought
like
that was
one.
so cute because, I don't know if you guys can tell by our festive attire, but it's almost Christmas!
Yeah. And actually, at this time, when this episode drops, we're actually not home.
That's right.
Right?
We're going on a trip.
We're going on a trip. Yeah, we're going on a before Christmas trip. But but we'll be back home for Christmas to say hello to our families. But yeah, we'll talk to you guys about that as soon as we're back. And we'll interrupt our New Zealand trip and talk more about that trip.
That's right.
But let's continue on with the New Zealand trip.
Yes.
So with Hobbiton, there is so much to talk about. First of all, we're staying in Rotorua still at this point.
Yeah.
And Rotorua to Hobbiton is about a 1-hour drive. Mm-hmm. And they don't typically... Do they even really have any hotel pickup things?
They might.
I know with ours they didn't. We had to drive ourselves.
They do pick you up. We got on like a shuttle bus where we had to like meet to get driven on because it's actually on a private farm. Mm-hmm. So you have to be escorted onto the property. So they do pick you up at some point.
Yeah. Well,
but it's a lot closer than where we were.
We actually have a video that talks all about this. Let's do that, and then we'll pick up and talk about stuff we didn't talk about in the video.
Okay.
Do the video.
It was raining quite a bit.
It was.
In the first, maybe not quite a half, maybe the first third of the tour. Yeah. It was raining, so I think I might look a little bit like a wet dog in half the pictures, but it was really, really cool.
It was really cool.
They, take you around all of the Shire, and you get to see all the little hobbit holes, and like they tell you some really cool behind the scenes stories. And then you get to stop by the Green Dragon Inn and have a drink and relax a little. I don't think we got to relax as long as maybe you normally do because our group was particularly slow in certain areas.
And rule breaky,
yeah. People they told you, like, don't go across, any fences or under any ropes or, the normal stuff. And people, all of a sudden, we'd turn and there'd be somebody from our group, like, standing in a field that we're pretty sure they weren't supposed to be standing in.
It was the same people the entire time.
It was the same people. It was, like 2 people, 4 people tops. Yeah. So, wish we could have had time, like at the end, to just kind of go exploring and really take some time to look around, because you were kind of rushed through pretty fast at some parts. And I would like to hear some more stories too. Like the stories we heard were great and really cool, but I kind of wish there were a few more.
Yeah, I think it was kind of what I expected. It was a big tour. There were like 38 people in our tour, so there wasn't really any like personal time to like take pictures with. Like, don't get us wrong, she took something like 300 pictures there. So
it was really pretty, guys.
Yeah, but it wasn't really a lot of time to really set up a good picture. It was really just kind of like point, click, and go. But it was about what we expected.
20 kilometers. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. We did stop by the cafe afterwards, because we were kind of hungry, and we got 11sies.
That's what the meal was called.
It was called 11sies, and it was really good. It was like a cheese platter kind of thing.
Yeah, like a little cheese platter.
Yeah.
With pickles and cheese and ham and
some jam and grapes and all that jazz. It was delicious, and we got some blueberry cheesecake.
Oh yeah, so
Delicious.
good. The blueberries out here are delicious.
All the fruit was really good, which makes perfect sense because there's just farms and farms and farms. But yeah, so that was super awesome. It gave us a chance to kind of like decompress a little bit. Yeah, really, really fun tour. If you're a fan of the movies and the books, it's definitely somewhere you're gonna want to check out. But yeah, so if they had a suggestion box, I would just suggest they let you wander around a little bit after like the tour. But I guess the only reason they don't is because they have to get you back on a bus, and the bus was almost every seat was taken. So they were like, oh, if you don't get on the bus, you're kind of stuck.
And plus, it's literally on a family's farm.
Oh yeah, that was kind of, I had no idea. So yeah, it's just this family that owns this property. I mean, if I was them, I'd be having my birthday parties and special events
I'm sure they
in
do.
the Shire all the time, because
I'm sure
how
they
freaking
do.
cool would that be? So basically, I gotta find this family and become friends. And also have enough money to be here very often. But you know, goals, one step at a time. Ryan says I'm already married, so I can't have my wedding there, but...
All right, so that was already a lot right there, just in that video. But we did miss a lot.
And you can probably tell we were so excited.
We were.
Still am.
So like I said before the video, we did have to drive ourselves. You have a note in here about dressing up. You want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, we partake in cosplay occasionally. So we were very tempted, at least I was, to bring some sort of Hobbit or Lord of the Rings costumes to wear for this particular outing, and it's not abnormal. People do come in costume. The funny story was that our tour guide actually said sometimes they get people dressed in completely different fandoms. Like they have people show up in like Harry Potter robes, or
I feel like we would do that though.
Or like just completely, totally random other things and show up, which is a little strange, but could be for a good reason. Could
I
be
can
really
imagine
funny.
people coming in Star Trek stuff.
Right?
Like that just makes sense
There
to
would
me.
be some entertaining things, but I think the tour guide thought it was really weird because people thought they were there for the wrong thing. Like they didn't know why they were there.
Right.
That's a little strange in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because like it wasn't cheap necessarily. And I think it has gone up since then. I want to say it was like $80.
And this is just
per
for
person,
entry you're looking for?
Just to go, be there, see the stuff. They do tell you a lot of things on the tour, and all that jazz. And you get a drink included, I believe. But yeah, I want to say when we were there, it was like $80 per person. So it's not cheap. So if you don't know where you're going, that's a little strange. But there were options. We actually did not end up dressing up. We were just in regular clothes because we didn't want to bring too much on the trip. But it's absolutely gorgeous and picture perfect and just amazing. So if you're super into it and this is like the reason you're going, don't feel weird if you bring stuff to wear because you're not the first person. You won't be the last person. and just ignore anyone.
I would say,
who
unless
stares
there's
at
a dress code, don't feel weird anywhere dressing up
Yeah.
the way you want, But anyways, shall we move on? Let's move on here. What do we have next?
So next up, we want to tell you when we got there, it was raining quite hard. We talked about how it was raining last week. It was, and that did not stop. The tours there do run rain or shine.
Yeah. And it ran,
and
raining and shining.
They do provide umbrellas if it's raining.
That was
so that's
super
pretty
nice.
Awesome. But you should definitely wear, pro tip here, if there's any chance of rain, which there probably is a chance of rain, wear the proper footwear. Because you're going to be walking along like dirt paths and it's muddy, especially if it's been raining and slippery. And so you want to wear the right type of footwear. And the right outerwear to keep yourself dry, because even though they do provide umbrellas, the rain comes from all different directions, and you don't want to be wet and unhappy when you're in the Shire.
No, that would not be.
That's
fun.
Off-brand. Don't do that.
Off-brand. So in the actual Shire, though, there's hobbit holes, and it looks like a small town.
Yeah.
Like they have hobbit holes for each individual hobbit family that lives there.
I know, and they gave them so much personality.
Yes.
I took a bajillion pictures, like so many.
I think even with the rain, we have just from like the 2-hour tour, I think we have something like 350 photos. Something like that.
It's my fault.
Not including videos too. I don't even remember how many videos we took.
Right.
But yeah, and this wasn't like on like a professional camera. This was on an iPhone.
Yeah.
So like you can imagine.
Like I said, it's just absolutely gorgeous. The amount of detail put into all of these different places is just crazy. Like they had specific ones for different things. There was a beekeeper one. There was a woodworking one.
We have pictures of both of those.
You can tell like what the hobbits who lived there did based on what is surrounding their yard or their door or things like that. And they have certain ones that you're allowed to take pictures in front of, pictures of, one that you get to open the door and go inside.
Yep.
Don't get super excited there. It's not really cool inside, but
storage inside.
You get to go inside.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. But yeah, so there's just so much to
Those pictures of us inside the Hobbit hole are some of my favorite pictures.
Me too.
The coolest thing I think about these though is like the one you see of us inside, that one is to scale to make us look like hobbits.
Yeah.
But then if you look at these ones, they look like they make it so the door's small, so it looks like we're the size of, Gandalf or like a human. Or...
So yeah, they had them scaled differently because this was the actual movie sets. So they wanted them to be functional and help with the practical effects and everything. So it's really, really cool to walk around and look at everything. And when you're on the little tour, you get to hear a bunch of like stories, which is also super awesome.
Yeah, like stuff about when he's yelling, "I'm going on an adventure."
Yep.
I'm going on an adventure. Which we have a video of you doing that.
I'm trying not to die.
I'm going on an adventure.
You actually see like the hills that he was running through, and the coolest story I think about that one is he actually had to run through that several times to make it look like Hobbiton was bigger.
Yeah.
Or the Shire was bigger. So like he ran through the same gate
area.
or same like garden just from different directions to make it look like he was running further. It was really, really creative.
I know. There
really
was
cool.
some really interesting little tidbits and behind the scenes facts that we got on that tour. So I definitely recommend it.
So I don't know if we actually mentioned it, but this is the actual filming location.
I did mention
You did mention it. Okay. Okay, this was just later in our notes, I guess. But But yeah, so they actually did the stuff there, which made it so much cooler.
And this was definitely one of those things that I was really, really, really excited about, and both of us were like, "There's no way we're going to New Zealand and we're not gonna do this thing."
Right.
Like, it's 100% happening.
Yep. And our travel agent Michael with Guest New Zealand, he was totally like, "Yeah, we'll get you guys doing that. That's fine."
And then now, looking back and doing our notes and everything for this episode, I found out that they have a few different options for tours. Like, I knew that they had 2 different options when we were there. They had the movie set tour, which is, like Ryan was saying, I think it's 2 hours.
It's 2 to 3 hours.
2 to 3 hours, includes transportation onto the farm. And there was a different option that included lunch or another one that was an evening banquet. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know about the lunch one. That might be new. I'm not sure though. But I knew about the movie set one, which is what we did. And then I also knew about the banquet one. We couldn't do the banquet one, but it was definitely something that I was very interested in.
Yeah.
And now they also do private tours. Mm-hmm. They do special events, like right now. They have Hobbiton Christmas. They have the Hobbiton Summer Solstice, Midsummer Celebration, Summer Harvest Festival, International Hobbit Day. Okay, so just because this one's a little further away, International Hobbit Day is September 22nd, and you can do a 5-hour tour for the low price of $295 per person. But it sounds super awesome.
That sounds so cool.
And you get a lot more time there. That was the only downside for this tour for me, was like not being able to just freely like hang out there all day.
Yeah.
You have like a set amount of time and you have to get back to the bus so you can get back to your car. And, that's, you got to listen to them and do what they say.
Yeah.
P.S. I think I said private tours, but you can also have private functions here.
Are you talking like weddings?
I am.
Oh,
or
my
other
gosh.
things like holiday parties or something. Like you can have a private function there. So...
Oh, you can take a picture if you're having a private function. You can take a picture in front of the Hobbit hole that says party business only. That'd be so cool.
So cute.
Oh.
Yeah. So super, 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 super fun. And there's also another thing you can do.
What can you do?
You can... Well, they list a lot of tours. This is sort of opposite. But they list a lot of tours that you can do that go to Lord of the Rings and Hobbit locations, filming locations or things like that. Mm-hmm. But you can also do a farm stay. So you can actually stay at this farm.
That's so cool.
It's pretty cool. It's kind of random. Pretty cool. So there's just so many options and like they all vary in price and kind of a little bit on what you do, but it's really easy to use the website and check stuff out. And like I said, I loved it.
Yeah. Okay, so remember last week we talked about the beers that we drank. We actually have a list of all of them that they have.
Yes.
And I think I remember the one that I had at the Green Dragon. So the Green Dragon Inn is there.
Yeah, so you get to go to the Green Dragon Inn, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And it's fully decked out. The whole inside, everything looks like it does in the films. It's decorated. It's functional.
Yeah.
There's a working bar. They serve you snacks and drinks there, and you get to like hang out. They had like musical instruments and like props.
I sat down and quote unquote played the harp.
Right. I don't know.
Prop,
it was really cool. But this is kind of the end of the tour. You get to like enjoy a drink there, relax, feel like you're part of it.
Yeah. So the beers they had was the Grinley Fine Grain. That was the amber. That was the one I held the bottle up for. That's the one that obviously we bought. Mm-hmm. There was the Sackville Cider, which was an apple cider, and I think
that's what I had.
That was the one that you had.
Yeah.
Then there's the Oat Barton Brew, which is a traditional English ale. I think that's the one that I had.
I think that's the one you had.
Because that was the only 3 alcoholic ones. And then there was the Frogmorton Ginger Beer, which is non-alcoholic. So if you wanted to partake in drinking but not have alcohol, there's the non-alcoholic version. Yeah. So was this worth it?
Oh my God. Like I've already mentioned, I would recommend this to everyone. I would 100% say it was worth it. I would do it again.
If I haven't already bombarded you with all the pictures that we took, I'm going to keep on probably just posting a few throughout the episode. So just to show you how much we enjoyed it. And not only you put I would do it again, like I think we will do it again.
I hope so.
Like I don't think we got enough of that.
It was super fun.
There was so much more. I mean, I would love to have more than just 11Z's and a sausage roll. Yeah. I want to have more of their stuff there.
I would love to have a party or a banquet.
That would be so cool.
Amazing.
Okay, so let's move on.
Okay.
to something else pretty cool.
Another adventure.
Yes. And I say pretty cool, I mean, like, this was, like, really cool. I really had a lot of fun with
I think this was one of your favorite activities that we did.
Yeah. So this is the Skyline Complex. Mm-hmm. They have a couple of different locations. I think they have one in Queenstown
they
also. Do. But we went to the Skyline Complex, Rotorua.
That's right.
We did a combo ticket, which is 5 rides down the luge. That's right. The luge.
Yeah.
1 swing ride. How fun can that be? And 1 gondola ride?
That's what it said on the website. I don't remember. I think when we were there, they had one that was just the luge.
No, I think we took the gondola up.
Did we?
Yeah, we had to. That was how you get up.
I thought we parked in their parking lot.
We did park in their parking lot.
Oh, but we took the gondola?
Yeah, you had to take the gondola to the top.
I totally forgot.
Yeah. We did not take the stairs all the way to the top.
I was thinking about
Queenstown?
Okay.
Yeah, no. This one we did the gondola.
Okay, so that's what we did. Pro tip.
Yeah.
Go when it's raining.
Yeah.
Because that's what we did. And there were no lines.
Mm-hmm.
There was barely anybody there.
Mm-hmm.
It made it really fun and slightly terrifying.
The reason why it was so much more fun is because there's nobody there, like you said, and it was faster, I want to say.
Yeah.
Mostly because the brakes didn't work as well.
I was gonna say it was maybe not faster, but it was definitely harder to stop.
Yeah, the way these brakes worked on these ones is if you let go, a little thing plops down to the ground and it pushes down. Kind of like if you ever did a soapbox derby, that's how soapbox derbies stop as well. So like it pushes down on the ground, actually lifts your cart up. Yeah. So you can imagine if the ground is wet and it's something pushing down, it just keeps on sliding.
Yeah, you just slide slightly slower.
Yeah, you can also pull closer to yourself. It's like almost on like a little like arced thing. So when you pull close to yourself, it also slows down. So you have to like hold it in a certain spot to go faster.
Right.
So if you do freak out and let go or like tuck in a lot, you will slow down.
Yeah.
Some way you're gonna slow down
eventually.
But we have the only video we were able to get since it was raining so much is this video that makes it look not as exciting as it is. You can see Katrina here. There she is, just scooting along. She's just scooting along. You see like the track is like super small. It looks almost like Autopia distance that you can turn.
And that's only because that's after the brake zone.
Right. This is where we're going in to bring the carts back, or the luge the luge carts back, and so they can go back up to the top. But
which you don't have to like drag them up to the top. They go on
that's
a special
the great thing. Yeah.
Machine thing.
Yeah. So we had we did all 5.
Yeah.
And there are 3 tracks, but I think for us only 2 of them were open because they were doing construction on one of them. Weren't they?
I thought all 3 were open.
Maybe they were, but I think one part you had to turn off.
Yeah, I think there was like a variation. So there was a scenic route, which was the easy one, which I personally really liked.
Yeah.
And then there was like an intermediate sort of a little bit more difficult one, but not too bad.
Took some skill to take some of the turns.
There was an expert level that I refused to try.
That one, from what I remember, had a couple of pretty big like dips right before a sharp turn. Like there were big signs saying like "slow down, you will crash if you don't slow down."
There were
here.
road signs all along the edges.
Signage.
It was really great.
They're so good at signage.
And because, so we didn't realize, at least I didn't realize, that the rain was part of the thing that was making it harder to brake until the very end. Like, our last run, we talked to one of the employees, and he was like, oh, yeah, like, you know, you guys do pretty good because I go on these things all the time, and I have a really hard time stopping in the rain. And I was like, oh, my gosh, that's why. Because I was definitely having a hard time. And then Ryan was mentioning how kind of to go, you have to hold the handles in like a certain position. My poor hands were 1, frozen, and 2, like I was death gripping the handles so hard because I was afraid I wouldn't be able to brake that my knuckles were white for sure. And I was so, like, I had a really good time, but I was terrified the entire time also.
Yeah. So I'm looking at their website right now, and actually, as of now, the advanced luge track is closed.
Okay.
So as of this recording, we're recording right now, the advanced track is closed, but there are the other two, which are actually the longer of the three. The scenic one is the longest one, is 2 kilometers. Mm-hmm. The intermediate is 1.7 kilometers. So it's there's different lengths and different speeds that you can go.
I was mostly also terrified because I have a history of flipping things over.
That's true.
I'm serious. Like,
That's
things
true.
that should not be able to flip over, I've flipped them. Mm-hmm. So I was very scared, and I'm very proud to say that I did not crash. Wait. I didn't flip anything over. I think I might have, I don't think I really crashed, but I bumped into some haystacks at one point.
That's funny.
Because that's what's at the edge of those curvy things. There's just some haystacks.
Yeah, I bumped into haystacks a couple of times. There was actually somebody that bumped into one at one point and knocked it into the track, so you had to avoid it.
That was pretty dangerous.
But
scary
I thought it was fun.
Scary for me.
But yeah. So we also did. Was there anything else about the luge you wanted to talk about?
Well, it was really pretty.
That's right.
And like Ryan said before, they do have another location.
Yes.
In Queenstown. But we heard later, this was where we were first, obviously, and we heard later that this is the better place to do it because the tracks are better. It's way prettier.
It's not as busy.
And not as busy. So I would recommend, if you're thinking about doing this, to do it here instead of in Queenstown.
Yeah, and actually it looks like Queenstown is doing a huge development right now for that. So I don't know if stuff is closed for them or what's going on. But they also have other things like you can do stargazing and stuff like that at this. So there's other things to do.
And there was a night luge option. We didn't do that one.
Yeah.
The rain was enough.
So there are other options to do.
Oh, wait. I want to tell them my best description of what it was like to luge in the rain.
Okay.
Is if you've ever been on Autopia.
Okay.
I didn't say it wrong just for you.
Thank you.
Autopia in the rain. It's like that, but 10 times worse.
Okay.
Little daggers to the face.
I would agree
hands.
with that. I would agree with that.
Just drenched.
Yeah. Yeah, we were wearing our rain gear and we were still soaked.
We were soaked. We had to go change very quickly.
They had that one part that looked like little dinosaur, a little dinosaur area, and we were just a little part you could you could pull off and stop and take pictures. Yeah, we stopped, took pictures.
It was like a little rest stop.
The one action shot that I think I've already posted is actually me not moving,
right?
But making it look like I'm moving. So
yeah, it was super fun. But what else did we do there?
So there's another thing. There's like I said, there's a couple other things. Let me list off some of the things you could do. You can do the gondola, which brings you up to the top. You can do the luge. You can do mountain biking. You can do stargazing. There's zip line. There's oh
yeah, we saw the people zip lining.
There's shopping. There's a restaurant. A restaurant up at the top. Yeah. That has wine and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. And cafeteria style.
Yeah, there's cafeteria style. I think there was an actual restaurant up there too, wasn't there?
Maybe.
But we opted for cafeteria style.
Yeah.
But then there's the sky swing.
Yes.
Now, before we get too into this, we have a video where we talked about this. Here, we're going to talk about the video. But yeah, we also did at this Skyline, we did a giant swing. Almost chickened out.
Truly did.
Yeah, me. I almost chickened out. But we had already paid for it, and it was 10 feet away from us, so we did it.
No line.
It was cool though. Yeah, there was no line. They said usually there's about an hour-long line, and we walked right up. But we did. I'm having fear just talking about it. The way it happens is they pull you up, and usually you think, in the States, usually they let you go, or they don't give you any warning or anything. Not this one. This one, you're up at the top, they give you a wave, and you pull the string to let you go.
And literally, a string, crink, and you go.
Yeah, it was the release the pin, whatever was holding it, and that was
which is terrifying.
Nuts. But it was so fun.
Made him do it.
It was, I did it, and as soon as she gave me a wave, I said, what did I say? I said, "Are you ready?" And then we were dropping because I wouldn't have pulled.
What, 100 miles per hour?
It was 90, yeah.
90 miles per hour.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Above a canyon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun though. I think I'd do it again.
Yeah. Well, there was a different one that instead of being in a seat,
Oh yeah,
were,
we were
like, in a
seated in this one.
cocoon
Yeah.
and facing the ground.
was like Superman.
And, like, go like this close to the
Yeah,
ground.
but we did not do that one.
Ryan said no to that one.
No.
What basically would happen is you buy the tickets all the way down to the bottom, so you don't really see anything. We heard Sky Swing. We're like, okay.
Well, I had kind of been wanting. I had heard some things about like the crazy like canyon swings,
Right?
And I was like, we should totally do one of those.
But so what we had here is there's a thing where it's the 5 luges, the gondola, and the swing included. So I was like, well, we might as well.
It's a pretty good deal.
Might as well do it, yeah.
And I kind of wanted to do it anyway. And Ryan was like, okay, this doesn't sound too crazy. It's like a ride, right? It's like a Disneyland ride.
Yeah.
Let's go have some fun.
Well, we didn't read the description.
We did not read the description.
Because we get up there and we found out that it hoists you up 50 meters, which is
164 feet.
164 feet.
That's pretty high.
And we already talked about how like the releasing and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that right there, like my palms are sweating. If it wasn't for us already purchasing it, I would have said hell no.
We looked when we got up there. We looked at it a little bit, and then we read the description up there, and both of us were like, maybe.
And it was raining.
And it was raining, and we're like, maybe we shouldn't do it. This kind of sounds kind of scary.
Do you remember us mentioning in the video that we went 94 miles an hour and it was raining?
Yeah. So we thought about it. In the end, I was like, no. We have to do it. We already paid for it. We're not, there's no refunds. We're not backing down. We're doing the thing.
Anyways, did you almost black out?
Okay, so the scariest part of the entire swinging was actually not the swinging. Mm-hmm. It was raising up to the release point.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, I was like, wow, this is so awesome. Look how pretty it is, looking around. And then we get to like, little less than halfway, and I'm like, whoa, this thing's still going. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Look at this. Woohoo. I'm still having a good time. We get a little past halfway, and I was just like, oh my God. We are still going. We're not even close. And I swear, we just kept going and going and going. And I don't know if I got like very, like, same thing. My palms were sweating. I was dying. I'm so glad that I said he was going to pull the thing because I could not have done it.
They take a video of you doing this. We watched it. I kind of wish we bought it because it was a pretty funny video.
It was pretty funny because it was us basically talking the whole time like, what the hell's going on?
But we did watch it, and now that I think about it, the lady walked away when she pressed play. I think she was expecting us to record it.
Oh.
So
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I did. I did afterwards. There was adrenaline and everything, but I noticed that she had like walked back in the room after it was done, and I was like, oh, she gave us an opportunity, and I think it was on purpose because we were the only ones there.
We were the only ones. There was no line. She said normally the line was like 45 minutes, an hour minimum.
Yeah.
And we walked up there and did it with no line, which was good because I feel like if I had to watch people go for like an hour, I would have been like...
See, I don't know. I think I would have been more comfortable with that. The fact that there was nobody else there was the part that freaked me out.
We are so opposite.
But anyways, was it worth it?
It was worth it.
Okay, so here's my pro tip. Travel with somebody that pushes you to do things like this because, yes, it was worth it.
It was worth it.
I say now with sweaty palms that I would do this again, but at the same time, I know how it was very scary doing the climb. Again,
once we released, I had so much fun. Oh my
gosh, it was so cool. Yeah.
The scary anticipation part.
Oh man. And I think the scary part was too, as you were going down, it's like the ground's getting closer and closer and closer. You're not swinging yet, and then finally you start scooping when you feel like you're about to hit the ground. It's Oh,
I wasn't scared at that part at all. Once you pulled the thing, I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. It was so much fun. So
it was super fun.
Those are the only things we did there because we were soaked to the bone, and we also had other things to do that night, which was the what was it? The Mitai Maori village. Mm-hmm. So, want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So this included a dinner, which we talked about last week. It was the hangi.
Oh, I forgot hangi. I think it was hangi. Yeah.
Hangi dinner, and there was also like a cultural performance
I loved that.
Yeah, so where they did they taught you about different parts of the Maori culture, like their games, and dances and songs and chants and carving and weaving and the clothing that was worn traditionally and just a little bit about everything, which was very, very interesting. It was about 5 minutes from the center of town. Hotel pickup was included, only for some reason they weren't supposed to pick us up at our hotel. They were picking us up at a different hotel.
Yeah, I think it's because they only pick up at so many hotels.
Yeah,
we were just far enough away from our...
Something happened, and we were, like I said, we were drenched from our luging and swinging. So we had run back to our hotel, thrown on new clothes, and then driven to... we decided to walk.
It wasn't far.
It wasn't far. So we were like, we're going to walk. And it had stopped raining, right? Even though it had been raining on and off all day, we were like, yeah, it's totally not raining anymore. Let's walk. We got lost. Sort of. We could not find the hotel we were supposed to go to.
Well, we found the hotel. We just couldn't find the entrance.
We couldn't find the entrance. And we finally got inside, and they were like, they already picked up here. And we were like, oh, my God. We missed it. Luckily, they were able to swing back around and pick us up, and we still got to go. So that was super awesome. Then you get to see, basically they bring you in, they kind of explain like the rundown of what's going to happen. And you get to go down to the river, and you see the warriors in their traditional garb paddling a hand-carved canoe down the river or the stream, and they are singing and chanting, and it was so beautiful.
Yeah, they had like torches on there and everything, like actual flame torches, not like flashlight torches.
Good point.
They had all that stuff there, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
If you're watching, you saw the video. I think we might have thrown the audio into it. It's
well, you should.
Yeah, it's so cool. But yeah, there was just displays of things all over the place, like weaponry, carvings. I mean, the entrance to get in there had a huge carving and everything. It was really
And it was really nice because, like I said, at every turn they were explaining the cultural significance behind just everything, which was really cool. For instance, like even the positions people were in the kayak, it was like, okay, well, this person sitting here is in charge of doing this, and this person's in charge of this, and this is how they all work together as a team to make sure everything goes smoothly. We also learned that the canoe was built by 3 different generations.
3 generations
of people that had carved it together, which was absolutely amazing. Just really, really interesting. When we got to see the performance part, like I said, we got to see some of the weapons, and they showed us some of the different, games. Some of it was
there was
games,
like games, there was dances, there was traditions.
From a young age, like things like coordination and agility and stuff, and those things were then put into use when they were using the weapons or fighting.
There was they also did the thing where if like a new new village comes in and comes to shore, they do the haka performance, which that was amazing.
I know,
that was
super cool to witness. If you're not familiar with this, like, go ahead and Google it, watch some videos. The All Blacks, the New Zealand rugby team, does this like to warm up before games and stuff. And it's just so cool to see in person, or even on video. So definitely check it out if you don't know what we're talking about. I think that was one of your favorite parts of the night. And
I was looking forward to that. I was looking forward to it going into it. Like, that was super cool because I've always wanted to see that live, and it was powerful. Like,
it's very powerful. It's very, very powerful to see. It's kind of chilling. I can't imagine like not having been filled in with some of like what it means and just seeing that from an outsider's perspective.
I don't want to spoil what all that stuff means too much because the way they describe all that stuff is just super cool.
Well, and I don't think we'd do it justice.
No.
But it's very, very cool.
Yeah. Then we had the meal, just like you described in the last episode, how they make it and everything. It was super cool. How they didn't put it in the ground for us, but they did that as close to tradition as they could. The food was delicious, but before we ate, they had the MC. Yeah. He was basically asking everybody where they were from,
right?
Like what country they were from, and he said hello to them in every language that.
And not just hello, like some of them it was hello and maybe hello, how are you, something kind of basic, and others it was like conversation, like going on, and my jaw just kept dropping farther and farther. I was like, oh my god, like in some of these languages, I was like, how do you know this?
Yeah, what would you say, like 30 different languages?
Probably.
Like it was crazy.
They did a poll to see how many different countries were represented at the dinner too, which was pretty interesting because it was a lot. I want to say it was over 100 different countries in this room here to witness their culture, which is just amazing in and of itself to think about.
This MC also had really cool tattoos. He had if you think of like their traditional Maori, even like Polynesian, like they're really big on their body art. He actually came down and sat with us for a while, which was kind of cool because there was hundreds of people there. And he came to sit at our table. And he told us the story of his tattoos and how it had to do with his family and
what everything represented. Yeah. And that was another really cool thing because we'd kind of gotten little pieces of like what it means. But yeah, it was really interesting to hear that story and to realize that for them as people, like the tattoos, especially in the past, were very, very significant because they were a way to show your lineage, to have a story, to have it all represented and be proud of things. And people still are using that in the same way today, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. After the dinner, we did a walk, but it had to get kind of abbreviated because it was flooded because it was raining.
Yeah, it started raining again really hard, and it had been raining the last couple days. So we were supposed to go down to see glowworms in their natural habitat. And
then also like a fairy spring kind of thing?
Yeah, it was a sacred spring. What was it? Was it called Fairy Spring?
Maybe it was. Well,
I feel like it was something along those lines.
Something like that.
Oh, it was. It was called the Fairy Spring. It was this sacred spring area. But to get there, the area was flooded. Yeah. So they took us where they could. They gave us the option, actually. They said, if anyone wants to go back and not do it, we'll take you back to your hotels now. If you want to stay, we'll pass out some flashlights and some umbrellas and we'll give it a go. So we obviously stayed and we tried to do it. And it was still really cool. We did get to
still got to see some glowworms.
It
not as impressive as the Blackwater.
Yeah, not as impressive, but it was still pretty cool. Yeah. And we did get to hear a little bit about the different plants, and how they were used in the culture for either medicine or other things like that. So we still got to do an abbreviated version of the walk that we were supposed to kind of get to do. But because of the weather, it had to be shifted a little bit.
Yeah. Then we have... was this worth it?
I was just going to ask you that. Why don't you answer?
Yeah, I think it was. For the show and the food, it was all just such a big experience. It was really cool. If you really want to... get as much of the experience in as little time as you can, getting the Maori culture in, I would do this. If you have a little more time, you might be able to pick and choose individual things out of all that to do throughout a day. But I think if you want to get it all done in one shot, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, and I agree. I think it's definitely worth it. And it's always nice to know that when you pay to do these sort of experiences, the money is going back to support the culture that you're learning about. So that was really cool because this particular experience is owned by a tribe. So that was really cool. So I definitely would recommend it. It was a very, very cool experience. We had a great time, even though it was cold and wet. And it's just very, very cool. Definitely do it.
Okay, so then we went another time to what was it? One of the geothermal areas. It was called Te Puia.
That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That one is also a Maori culture center, but it's a geothermal center as well.
Yeah.
Where there's, oh my gosh, this is the one where they had so much Maori architecture.
They did.
And they were actually doing carvings there. There was like a school there, right?
Yeah, they have a it's the Maori Arts and Craft Institute.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It was established in the 1920s, and they have the National Schools of Carving, which I'm not just talking about wood. It's carving for wood, stone, and bone.
That's cool.
Those are all important in their culture. For the National School of Weaving. We talked about the tattoo art a little while ago. They call it tamoku.
That sounds right.
Okay. So that's another school there because it is so significant, and a few other things. And they use this center to teach the crafts of their culture, to keep these things and their traditional ways alive. But they also integrate new technology in and kind of advance the ways that these things are done. But they're always looking to keep the integrity of their traditional ways as well. So it was very interesting to get to, like you said, see people actually doing the carving, get a weaving demonstration, get to feel the plants that they use for the weaving, get to see some artwork, so kind of like part museum sort of also. Yeah,
that was really cool. Oh my gosh, my screen just went crazy.
The center is also not for profit, so they get no government funding, which and everything that they do make as a profit, they reinvest back into the programs and initiatives supporting the survival and thriving Maori culture.
Yeah. So they also had a Kiwi Conservation Center.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was super cool.
So it's interesting. The way this center's, like, anywhere that there's Kiwis, they change their sleep cycle. And they do it in a way where they make it so while it's daylight for us, they make it at nighttime for their habitat.
Yeah, because they're nocturnal.
They're nocturnal. Very nocturnal. They're never out during the day.
Yeah, people want to see them, but people also don't want to be there at midnight.
Right. So it's very dark in these enclosures, and this one we did not see one, right?
We saw them on tape in the, because they had like
there was like on the camera
part, but we didn't get to see them like with our own eyes,
right?
I guess
we saw them through a video.
Yeah. But it was still really cool to like check it out and have the opportunity to maybe see them.
Yeah.
Oh, there was also the mud pools.
Yeah, those things looked really weird.
Yeah, it was super, super weird. We have some cute little videos of the mud, like, bubbling.
Do we still have those videos?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. So, yeah, we'll have those. It looks, kind of gross. But kind of cool at the same time because it's basically just mud boiling.
Yeah, which is just weird.
Yeah.
And then one of the most famous mud pools.
Oh, you got this?
Well, it's phonetically on here. So, Pura Fete two? Oh, I was so close.
Two.
I'm so close.
2 O's there. Why did you go eh?
I don't know. I tried. Okay, you do it.
Pura fetu.
I was close, everyone. I got confused at the end. It means stardust. Or at least loosely translated. And that's because small clusters of boiling mud resemble I can't talk anymore.
Words are hard.
Resemble kind of like a Milky Way-esque looking design, which is pretty awesome when you think about it.
Yeah, there's another word here. I'm not even going to try it. Should I try that?
I don't know. You can try it if you want, but you don't have to.
Nye moka e koko.
We apologize for our pronunciation again.
But that's the largest and most impressive mud pool.
Yeah.
In this area.
I think that's the one we have the video of.
Yeah. The depth is about 20 to 30 feet.
Yes.
That's deep.
That's pretty deep. I don't want to fall in there.
It depends on the rainfall. Well, I mean, if you fall in there, you're not going to worry about the depth. You're going to worry about how you're boiling in mud.
Yeah. Both things bad because the temperature of the mud can reach up to 95 degrees Celsius. You didn't think that was that hot until I said Celsius, which is like 200 degrees Fahrenheit, everybody. That's hot.
Wow. That is crazy. Now, there's a geyser there, too.
Mm-hmm. There's multiple geysers.
There's multiple geysers, but there's the major geyser there.
Yes.
It's the Pohutu geyser.
Yes.
Now, in the video that you saw before of us talking about... Actually, I think we talked about the Maori stuff in that video also. So, it was the Maori stuff and the sky swing. The water that was shooting up behind us, that is this geyser.
Yes.
And it was erupting for... the whole time we were there, pretty much.
Yeah, probably like an hour. We didn't realize that because they were like, oh yeah, it's gonna erupt in a little while or something. So it probably erupted like right after we got there. Yeah. And we thought like, oh, okay, this is just normal.
We thought it was just how it was supposed to be. But no, it was erupting the whole time.
Not normal.
Yeah.
So this is the largest active geyser in the southern hemisphere. Mm-hmm. It erupts 1 to 2 times per hour, typically. It can reach up to 100 feet.
Which this is why we realized that it was erupting.
Yeah.
Because when we read that fact, we're like, that's about 100 feet.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
That was a ding, ding, ding.
They can last a few minutes or much longer.
Right.
This was the much longer time.
Yeah. Well, about 15 years ago, one eruption lasted for 250 days.
That's much longer.
That's much longer.
The same annoying tourists from Hobbiton that were...
Were they the same?
They were the same ones.
I forgot.
The same annoying tourists in Hobbiton that were jumping over barriers and stuff were also here
right. Did we talk
jumping
about
over
that?
Barriers. Yeah, we talked about it in the video. But the nice thing is they took our picture, so we got a couple good pictures from them.
They were much nicer here.
Yeah, they were nice, but they didn't respect barriers.
Yeah. Maybe it was cultural.
There was also Te Tohu, which was an indicator geyser. This one usually erupts just before Pohutu. It's its neighbor, and isn't that the one that literally it's like below it? Like yeah. So
but yeah, they say usually like you'll see that one go off, and then you're like, okay, that means the big one's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. Then there was the Tehoru geyser, which is the cauldron. That one actively stopped in 1972. Yeah. Started bubbling again in 1988.
But hasn't actually erupted.
Right. But yeah, so that's...
Those are some of the main attractions here. So as you can see...
Those are the main ones that we did.
Well, those are some of the main attractions at this
geothermic yeah.
location.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But there's tons of other ones. And actually, why don't we talk about some of the stuff we didn't do?
Yeah, just overall in Rotorua.
So some things that we didn't get around to, maybe we're saving for next time.
How about a Polynesian spa?
Yeah, I was super, super intrigued by this idea because
were you?
Spa,
yeah,
everyone. So this is they have geothermic pools, spa treatments. They use the geothermal mud, which I don't remember if I mentioned or not, but apparently the mud from this region is like extremely sought after for beauty reasons. It's supposed to make your skin soft and clear your pores and heal you, or who knows, but it's very, like, you can buy it by the tub and it's very expensive. I bought like a hand cream with it in it, and it does make my hands feel amazing. And they also do massages and just general relaxation there. So I was all about this. Then we found out that it was kind of pricey.
Yeah.
And we didn't have time.
Along the same lines, there's a mud bath at a sulfur spa.
It's called Hell's Gate.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go there because it was called
So that's similar to the spa, but you can take a mud bath and for same reasons open your pores.
In one of those mud pools.
Yeah.
Like,
obviously not
like,
200
I'm
degrees
going to rub
Celsius,
mud on myself, but like jump on in. They have a time limit. You can only stay in the mud for 20 minutes because it raises your body temperature.
We could have taken a weaving lesson.
Yeah.
That would have been a full-on...
It would have been pretty fun.
Yeah.
I think because it would have been hands-on, which would have been really cool.
You'd mentioned before the dinner banquet.
I want to do that.
We really want to do that.
Well, I think, and now that I know that there's special events, I'm like, Christmas at Hobbiton?
Yeah, we're talking about Hobbiton. Yeah,
Let's go.
Yeah. The Rotorua Canopy Tour, which we saw this. No, we saw this in Queenstown.
Yeah, we didn't see this
We didn't see this here, but I think it was something similar, where it's zip lines or swing bridges, or which we have some cool swing bridge stories coming up in the next couple of weeks. There's also the Waimangu Volcanic Valley, which is another geothermal location.
Like I said, there's tons of these. Those are everywhere.
Waiotapu Thermal Wonderland. So we looked into all of these ones and ultimately decided on the one that we did because it was closest and it just had a lot to do.
Well, and we had it recommended to us by Michael. And the last one, Waiatopu.
Yeah.
That one is the most colorful geothermic location. It's probably, if you've ever seen pictures of anything that kind of sounds like what we've been talking about, it's probably this one. It's very popular. Probably like one of the most Instagrammed locations in the area. But like I said, we were recommended not to go here because it's not as cool as some of the other locations, and it's going to be very crowded. And I'm glad that we took that advice. If we went back, I might stop in and check it out though, because I'm kind of intrigued by the colors.
Cool. There's also the Wingspan National Bird of Prey Center, which I didn't
know about this, and I'm sad because I feel like we would have been so excited.
This is a center dedicated to the conservation of the threatened Karearea New Zealand falcons and other birds of prey, where you learn about falconry and
you get to see a flight demonstrations by falcons and hawks, which sounds really awesome.
The legendary Blackwater rafting company Black Abyss Tour. Now, we mentioned that we did this Blackwater through this company, but we want to do the longer, the 5 hour.
That also includes like
some climbing.
That? It was some climbing and cascading,
maybe.
I think spelunking. I don't know.
Spelunking.
I think it was called cascading, but you get to do some other cool stuff in the cave, along with like some of the stuff we did before.
Would you be down for that?
I saying yes now, and I mean,
we tried that thing at Disneyland, and
like we said earlier, someone who pushes you outside of your comfort zone.
Okay.
I want to say that I'm into it.
Okay. I
would also probably be terrified, but glad I did it if it happened.
Okay, sounds good. We would also want to do more hikes, especially longer ones.
Yeah.
A lot of it was just time. We didn't really have much time because we were trying to get places, and we had, we wanted to do the things that were planned already that we'd already paid for. So
I know. And when we say longer hikes, like one of the ones is the Tarawera.
That sounds fine.
Tarawera. That's a fun word. Trail. This is 5 to 6 hours one way.
Yeah.
So,
I would say that would take probably a day to do.
Right? You see some really pretty waterfalls and beautiful nature stuff. And that's actually a shorter of the long hikes. Like, that's like, I want to go on a medium hike. That's not really a long hike.
They have the great hikes there that we're going to talk about in the future. But I think those were like the longer hikes that I would want to do. But anyways...
and the last thing that I just also saw, which sounded pretty cool, is you can do a redwoods tree walk.
That sounds cool.
It just reminds me of Star Wars. That's my main motivation here.
That does sound like Star Wars. I was thinking, like, when I hear tree walk, I think of Ents, especially since we were just talking about Lord of the Rings stuff.
And I also thought about Donkey Kong. Like the level where you're up in the trees.
I know what you're talking about, yes.
Okay, because they have 28 suspension bridges and 27 platforms attached to redwood trees. And the trees are over 100 years old. You're up. You can do this daytime or nighttime. It's supposed to be really cool either way. It's not free.
No.
But it sounds really cool. So
I think that brings us to the end of Rotorua.
I know.
I think we stayed one more night there, and then we took off in the morning to our next destination, which is the Coromandel?
Sure. I honestly don't know. We'll have to
I think it's the Coromandel. Home of the most
yeah.
delicious burger in the world.
Find out more later.
Yeah.
I would say this is definitely an area that you could spend a lot of time in. Mm-hmm. There is so much to do. There is, like I said, the amount of cultural experiences is crazy. The nature-y stuff is great. It's ripe for relaxation.
Yeah.
I don't know. So definitely check this out. This is one of our favorite locations from New Zealand.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
That's it for this week.
Cue the music. Thank you for listening this week. If you enjoy this show, please share us with your friends.
And review us.
That's right. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts.
Seriously, we're everywhere.
Everywhere. You can follow us too on Twitter @CarryOnCouplePC, Instagram or Facebook That's Carry On Couple Podcast. And you can also email us.
That's right, at carryoncouplepodcast@gmail.com.
Now, we're all about these free podcasts. We're just doing this for fun. Really, we are. However, if you do want to support us, we won't say no to money. Just go to anchor.fm/carryoncouplepodcast and click the support this podcast link. We have an exciting opportunity for you. That's right, you can be heard on Carry On Couple Podcast.
What?
That's right. It's simple. You just download the Anchor FM app, search Carry On Couple Podcast, tap voice message, and start recording.
That's right. And if you have any tips and tricks of your own that you want to share, or any fun destination stories from a recent trip that you went on, please leave us a message.
The great thing is you can still listen to Carry On Couple Podcast on the platform of your choice. But if you want to be heard, download Anchor FM and leave us a message.
Until next week, thanks again, and remember, you and I, we're in a club now.